Hello, and welcome to another episode of Pulse with Dr. T at ICFP 2022. I couldn't be happier and more joyful to be joined by these two guests. I love young people. I'm not so young myself, so I always love their energy and all the insights that they bring, but mostly the creativity that they bring to this work. And I know that sometimes it gets really difficult and everything just feels like a battle and an uphill battle. But I think tonight I want to celebrate the energy and the vision of young people. I want to celebrate their commitment to making ICFP what it is, but also the commitment to making things work in their own space, in their own sphere, and elevating some of those voices today will be Itumeleng Letswalo, and she will tell us who they are. And we also have Nancy Gomez, who is, Gomes. I must get it right, Gomes. And she'll also let us know who she is and what moves her. But I think what's important for me today is to share with you that I myself was a young person who started this journey with the 120 under 40 award many years ago. I won't count how many years ago, but many years ago. And I've seen how ICFP has evolved over the years, and it has truly become a youth-led, a youth-driven conference. And tonight, I want to talk about the intersections of using social media to demystify sexual reproductive health rights, but also access to abortion, for example. I want to talk about how they've both, and even including myself, used social media in various ways to also destigmatize sexual pleasure for young people. And, without wasting any more time, I want you to introduce herself, and then I will start with sort of my first question to you after that. Over to you.
Lesedi, Dr. T, and to all the viewers, thank you so much for watching and for having me here. Nna ka lebitso ke Itumeleng Letswalo. I am from Lesotho, and I am a traditional healer as well as a digital content creator. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, it's my turn. My name is Nancy Gomes. I'm a digital media activist. I'm from the US. I live in North Carolina, go 919. And I'm so freaking happy to be here.
I love it. And so the first question to you, Itu, will be that of course, the indigenous knowledge is often seen not as good enough. It's not seen as scientific. It's not seen as rigorous, right? But we know for many people, especially in Africa, they're still consulting traditional African healers before they consult, for example, myself, who's a Western trained doctor, in whatever ailments that they have. So what have you seen in terms of the issues that people have and the difficulties that they have? And where do you think that indigenous health, traditional health, African health systems have a role to play in some of those, wide-ranging issues that young people have, from abortion care to pleasure, knowing about contraceptives? Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. I'll start by sharing an experience that I had, which was my first experience of helping someone access a safe abortion as a traditional healer. And it wasn't something that I was sure was my place to begin with, because there's a lot of stigma in this space around having abortions. You know, there's a lot of myths around the implications of accessing an abortion and deciding to have one, you know. And so through that experience, I saw all the gaps that exist in accessing safe abortions for young women and people who are gender diverse as well. And I would say that the traditional health space is still very much rooted in patriarchy, you know. So even though we are keeping indigenous knowledge systems alive, we have to acknowledge that colonialism and patriarchy leave no stone unturned. And so the effects that have on how young people feel about the decisions that they want to make about their bodies, and what implications they believe that will have. You know, you mentioned earlier about being a rebellious Catholic. I relate to that. I am a rebellious traditional healer who believe that your ancestors love you and they want what's best for you, you know, and that is the information that I try to, you know, spread in my practice as well. Yeah.
That's amazing. Nancy, same question to you, but slightly different in that you work with mobilizing youth in the US around various advocacy programs, especially around access to safe abortion. And I mean, you have, of course, asked me to be part of some of your campaigns.
And she's been dope, by the way.
You asked nicely, so I have to say yes. But it's important, right, in that you work in a very different way in using social media to produce content that directly, unashamedly, and in your face in destigmatizing abortion. And I always speak about how, as people who are defenders of human rights, have to be just as loud and maybe even louder, right, than people who want to take away our rights. How have you found the space of social media to be as a creator, but also as a consumer of pop culture?
Absolutely. So first of all, a lot of us youngins have grew up on social media. We've used social media from the jump, and we use it to read our news. We use it to spread information, to send each other good anecdotes that we actually enjoy about information that's going around, specifically around abortion and sexual reproductive health. With Roe being overturned in the US, and you know, that was a very, very difficult time. Many people were looking for resources. They were looking for, okay, am I in a state that's going to be affected by this new abortion thing that's happening? And if that is the case, I'm young. Do I have the money to be able to go travel? What resources are available to me to be able to access these kind of services? I actually have many friends who have been helping across states, and they're probably using digital platforms in order to have that communication line to then go and get safe abortion. So I really think that it's important to utilize what the youth need right now, which is a social media platform and digital platform, especially during COVID. We saw this huge in mass transition from in-person to online interactions. And because of social media, we've been able to connect in ways that we've really never seen in our lifetimes. And I think, honestly, TikTok, the Gen Zers are really freaking doing it. Honest to God, when I watch TikToks, I am proud of being a part of, I'm on the cusp, I'm like millennial Gen Z cusp or whatever. So I'm really proud of seeing the young people mobilizing in a way that is just against the status quo and is like, you know what, I'm in your face. I'm going to be honest and brutal about how I'm coming into this space. And they're taking up space. I mean, a lot of times us as youth, we feel like, so what's the word? It's almost like we have to reach so much farther up the ladder in order to get a platform. And TikTok and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. I mean, we're not really Facebook like
I'm
that.
still on Facebook, so be careful.
Maybe it's a US thing and a younger thing, but I mean, these platforms are creating avenues for you to really, really connect and to speak in ways that are going viral. People are consuming this information quickly and easily, and it's readily available. So I think social media, really, people need to take it more seriously, and that's how I'll end on that.
That's great, because the next report I'm working on as the UN Special Rapporteur on the right to health is going to look at digital innovation intervention and the right to health. And so what you're saying is so important, and I hope that you've submitted to the report so I can hear all this gold. And what's important also is that we need to acknowledge that young people are leaders in the moment. And I keep saying that everywhere I go. There's this idea that our leadership is something in the future, and we never get there, right? And yet we are doing incredible work in the moment right now, whether it's in social media, whether it's in traditional healing spaces. And I want to reflect on ICFP 2022 for both of you. And what has the space meant for you? What what have you learned? What are you taking back with you? Because for us who've been at ICFP, we are just really joyous to be reunited and pull off such an amazing space, which is still, I will repeat, the largest scientific gathering that's discussing family planning. But from you, you've never been at ICFP, and yet we are in Pattaya City. Is there anything shifted, moved for you personally, but also in how you see the work evolving for yourself in the future?
So it's been incredibly affirming being in this space, particularly gathering with other young people from across, various parts of the world, and especially as a young person who is still trying to be taken seriously in the space. I'm Black, I'm queer, I am poor, so the space has particularly been affirming on the fact that I am an expert of my own experiences, and that also deserves to be taken seriously, and I do deserve the resources that I need to continue the work that I do. So yeah.
And I'm proud of you. So.
Thank you, Mama.
I love these are my besties. Genuinely, I think that what I've learned at ICFP, because this is also my first time, and the first time I've traveled literally in 10 years, it's been an insane experience. But honestly, people are still, I think, warming up to social media. When I have my camera and I'm ready to give them cues, they're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? This is so crazy. But in reality, the youth are doing this every day in their high schools, in their middle schools. Like, kids have access to this and are killing it. Like the whole voguing stuff, and then with information on the side, like that is such genius marketing, and these people are creative. So I feel like we in the SRHR space and social media. And honestly, it's just I think it's a human responsibility. It's like, if you believe in human rights and you care about people, then use your platform in whatever way, however big, however small. And I've seen a lot of my friends also become huge influences, content creators, just by being themselves, by showing that their queerness, showing their sexuality, being just so unapologetic. And I think that's kind of what I'm taking with me in terms of how I'm going to leverage this space and this moment in promoting that kind of content for later on.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Itu. Thank you,
Thank you, ma'am.
Nancy. It's been wonderful to share this space with you at ICFP 2022 from Pattaya City in Thailand. And thank you, all of you, for joining us on Pulse with Dr. T. And I just want to end this by saying that we are all worthy of love and care, and we're born inherently with all of our human rights. And it's for us to create an enabling environment for young people to create online, to seek traditional health services at the intersection of all of that, and work collectively to lead a life that is in service of the restoration of dignity for all people. Thank you.
Go Dr. T.